48 Hours this week investigates a case filled with love, infidelity, and murder. A successful Texas businessman died after his motorcycle collided with a car driven by his estranged wife. What happened in the moments leading up to the crash is up for debate. Was it an accident, or did she intentionally kill him in a fit of jealous rage? Peter Van Sant reports.
I hate to say this because I'm a woman, but I think that a lot of women see successful men, self-made men, attractive men. They think, I want a piece of that.
They're traveling at a high rate of speed.
It doesn't matter if they're married or not.
Oh my goodness.
Francis and Bill Hall met when they were in high school. I think they were around 16. Neither of them had very much money. They started dating and they were married by 18. Frances Hall is someone that you wish was in your family. She's very selfless, caring, and really always thinking about other people. Bill Hall loved Francis and his children. But Bill's fatal flaw is that he also liked the attention of younger women.
Bonnie Contreras is Bill Hall's mistress. He had been dating her for about 3 years, and by most accounts, it was a pretty open affair.
I'm trying to think of the most flattering way to describe Bonnie Contreras. Bonnie Contreras is almost like a master manipulator. She would take compromising photos, kind of just gather all these nuggets that if things ever went south, she had all the proof she needed to kind of force you to do what she wanted.
My mother was on the verge of a nervous breakdown because Bonnie was taunting her constantly.
Bonnie Contreras put Frances through hell. She's texting and calling Frances. Bonnie would call her every explicit name in the book and just say, "You're so fat and disgusting." You have this toxic love triangle. Got a multi-millionaire husband and wife, and this mistress trying to wedge her way between them.
I get a phone call from my mom, and she said, "I just saw your dad, and I just saw Bonnie."
When Frances first sees her husband Bill and then Bonnie, she's about 2 miles down the road this way, and that's when she makes the decision to make a U-turn and finally confront this woman that's been, wreaking havoc in her life.
So her husband and mistress, they're driving toward us on this highway?
Exactly. They're coming this way. They're still going 85, 90 miles an hour.
I believe that she intended to kick Bonnie's ass that day, okay? That's what she wanted to do. She wanted to go over and she wanted to beat up Bonnie.
Frances Hall took a 2-ton death tank to what should have been a fist fight. Frances was out for blood.
I don't think anyone imagined that by the end of that day, there would be a dead body and someone in handcuffs.
Wow. 48 Hours producer Paul LaRosa worked on this report, and he is here with us now. So, Paul, we know Bill Hall is dead, but how exactly did he die?
Well, he died of internal injuries, but the question is, who hit his motorcycle on that road that day? Now, the mistress flat out told police that his wife, Bill's wife, just rammed into him with her car, big Escalade, just rammed into him, knocked him off the road, and that was that. But you have to understand, this was sort of like the Fast and the Furious meets the Real Housewives of San Antonio.
I mean, great pitch.
There was a lot of texting going back and forth between the women, really nasty stuff. And the physical evidence does not support Bonnie's story that his wife just rammed into him and knocked him off the road. The physical evidence does not show that and did not show that in trial.
Can this be considered a crime of passion in Texas?
Well, it's funny, where the passion part comes in Texas is in the sentencing phase. Sudden passion is the legal term for it. So you can be convicted of murder. But in the jury gets to decide in the sentencing phase. Every state is different.
Right.
In Texas, the jury sits for the sentencing phase, and they tell you what they think the punishment should be. So in this case, the lawyers said, hey, this was sudden passion. Passions were flying high, and she didn't mean to do what she did. It was an accident. So the jury got to say whether Frances Hall would serve the rest of her life in prison or just 2 years.
Wow. This death must have divided the family. What have we heard about that?
it did divide the family, because part of what happened was Frances, the wife, could not really tell her story. She was arrested right away, so of course the lawyers told her not to say anything publicly to the family, to your relatives. So everybody believed Bonnie's story, the mistress's story, that Frances had knocked Bill off the road. So they thought Frances had killed her husband, and they were upset about it, and they sort of cut her off. People who would lifelong, people who had talked to her their whole lives wouldn't talk to her anymore. And this area is known as Hall Country. I mean, there's a lot of relatives who have trucking concerns, and it really did just split the family apart, blow them apart. Even the daughter and son of the Halls have gone sort of separate ways.
Fascinating. Paul LaRosa, thank you so much for coming down and talking to us. It's a fascinating story. And you can see the full report, Driven to Extremes, tomorrow night on 48 Hours. It is part of a special double feature, which starts at 9, 8 Central, only on CBS.